there's other things to be proud of, who you are. And the Kalamazoo Community Foundation is a proud sponsor of Pride. That's an event coming up June 10th and 11th here in Kalamazoo. Joining us to talk a little bit about that and what they do at the LBGT Student Services Center at WMU is their director, Jen Sue. Also with us today, WMU student Nick Smith, who is putting together a little something for the fall, too. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
Glad you're here. So tell us about your office and what you strive to do with the students over at Western.
Absolutely. So our Office of Lesbian, Bisexual, Gay, and Transgender Student Services is a support unit as part of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at Western Michigan University, and we provide support, education, and advocacy to the broader campus community to make sure that all people, including those who identify as LGBTQIA+, have an opportunity to feel safe, welcome, and included on campus.
Things are so different now. You know, I was talking to my neighbors across the street, and they were talking about prom, and girls go with girls, and guys go with guys, and girls go with their gay best friends. And I mean, things are really changed. When I was in high school, you had to have a date, or they wouldn't even let you go to the prom, you know? Things have changed,
Absolutely.
But in some ways they have not.
Absolutely.
And is there still fear?
Yeah, and
students?
absolutely. And I think Nick can probably speak to this best as a student that just finished his first year at Western. But one of the things that I've seen also is that we've seen a lot of advances, but our LGBT students still have a lot of fear coming to the university, not knowing what to expect, especially roommates their first year. A lot of our students live on campus, and so I'm sure
can you speak a little bit to that, Nick?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Just yesterday, a lot of students just came in for their first year orientation, and that was a really fantastic experience, having the opportunity to talk to them. But there were quite a few who came over to the table specifically for the office and asked about how inclusive it was on campus, what they can expect with the possibilities of being addressed correctly and respect and all of that, and places to go when if they run into any issues, and when they just want a safe space to hang out in for people of different identities. So.
Do a lot of students come out in college? I mean, I imagine if you have a very religious family, or, you know, just when you're away from home, is that a time that you hear from students?
Yeah, absolutely. We see a lot of students that are coming out, and oftentimes refining their understandings of their own identities, so that identity development phase continues throughout our lives. But college seems to be a really critical time for students to explore their identities, and it's been amazing to see students bloom and blossom over the 4 and 5 years that we have the opportunity and privilege to see them grow.
Is there an age when you recognize your gender identity normally?
So the most recent research that I've seen says that folks have a pretty decent understanding, pretty deep understanding of their gender identity by the age of 8. And so for most folks, gender identity is something that they have a good understanding of, but that process of sharing with other people sometimes can take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and plus years. Yeah.
Well, there's your gender identity, and then there's your sexual orientation. They're two separate things.
Absolutely. Yeah, important distinction.
And then along with that, it's deciding which things you want to come out and tell people, like, because you don't really know. A lot of the times you'll run into people who are perfectly okay and aware of issues of sexual identity, and then when it comes to sexual orientation, and when it comes to gender identity, they might not be the most supportive or inclusive at all. And so it's just sort of navigating those types of situations is a serious issue that a lot of people run into. So.
Well, sure, there's been something in the news, too, with the bathrooms and all of that. You know, that's been a big hullabaloo about who can use what bathroom. And
Sure. And for us, one of the things that makes us most nervous is that we're dehumanizing folks and forgetting that at the end of the day, all of us need to use the restroom, and there's an opportunity for us to make people feel safe, or we have an opportunity to alienate and make our most vulnerable populations feel even less safe than they oftentimes already are. And so I think that it brings great opportunity for us to have conversations that our campus is a welcoming space, and we've been affirming for a number of years that all of us have the opportunity to use the facilities that align with our identities, and especially to have safe spaces like our office to be able to rest and relax in between classes and during lunch shifts and things like that, so that folks know that they're safe and welcome.
As we mentioned, the Kalamazoo Community Foundation is a proud sponsor of Pride, which is coming up in a week or so. Tell us about that, where it's going to be.
Absolutely. So Kalamazoo Pride is coming up next week, June 10th and 11th, at the Arcadia Festival site, the evening of June 10th and all day June 11th. And so we're excited. Our Pride Alumni Network is going to be there tabling and supporting a great event. Over 10,000 people, I understand, have been coming out consistently for the last several years, and it's been a great opportunity to really highlight the visibility and to have a day of celebration that we're here, and our friends and families, supportive allies can all be there to have a great time. So it's a great event.
And then you're busy planning something for the fall. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, of course. Fall Fab Fest is a really fantastic event that's held by the Office of LBGT Student Services. It's generally on the Sunday after everyone's first week of school, so people who are new or returning have a little bit of time to settle in and then can just show up to a fantastic event where there's a lot of different tables and information that is provided and free stuff, which is always a great thing
We
to
like
tell
free
people.
stuff.
Everyone loves free stuff. I mean, I feel like free food is the sentence that brings the most people out generally. But yeah, and so I'm really looking forward to planning towards that and trying to create a more inclusive environment and expose people to as much as possible that they'd like to see in their first week of school here.
Fantastic. And the Community Foundation, a sponsor of that as well.
Yep, Fall Fab Fest.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Looking forward to Pride coming up in a week or so. Thank you.